Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome again to HR Tech Talks. I am your host, George Rogers, and I'm excited. It's been a while, but I'm excited to be with you here today, and even more excited to bring in one of our former partners, as well as one of our 2023 HR Tech Award winners. As I mentioned, that I also want to allow everybody to know, and those who are watching, that we have opened up this year's HR Tech Awards. You can visit hrtechawards.org for more information on that, to be able to join in our list, to be able to win one of those awards here this year for 2024. And for you who are watching live with us today, join in. This is a conversation that I'm going to be having with a special guest of ours, and you'll be able to chime in, ask questions to myself and our guests, and we would like to have the conversation. If there's something that kind of sticks out and highlights, we'll be joining the chat with you during this time, and we appreciate everybody for joining us. Remember to always like, share this with your network. Maybe they can find something that is able to connect with them as well. And so without further ado, I don't want to take too much time on the introduction. Just want to mention those few things with hrtechawards.org. You can be ready to sign up there and also just be a part of this conversation with me. But without further ado, I want to welcome our guest here today. And I'm going to ask him, Alex, welcome so much. I appreciate you for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me, George. Excited to be here.
No problem. If you don't mind, for those in the audience that may not know you and or your company, share a little bit about Confirmed and yourself, if you wouldn't mind.
Absolutely. My name is Alex Hively. I am the Senior Marketing Manager at Confirm. Confirm is a Series A stage startup that is transforming the world of performance reviews.
Awesome. And so just to dive right into this, because we collaborated last fall in 2023 on our research study, Peace, Performance, Engagement, and Culture Enablement. And y'all were a big part of that. And one of the things that really has stuck out with me on that performance is how it aligns really with the management and things of that nature. What kind of problems is Confirmed, technology? And I like to say problems, but I also like to say it. What kind of solutions are you providing, Alex, for those who are out there that are using your platform currently? And then for those who are maybe interested, say, hey, that's something that we could really, really align ourselves with what you're providing. So what kind of solutions are you providing and solving right now for your clients and the things that you plan to do continually in 2024?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. For the problem, we all know that performance reviews are broken and they are a laborious process that doesn't really get much great data out of, and companies are struggling to find something new. Companies are just treating performance reviews as this box we have to check. As long as everybody does it, then we are compliant and we can just move on. And the end result of that is that people are getting treated unfairly. Their performance review is what dictates their salary, their ability to get promoted, even the idea that they still have a job at this company. And it's truly just this like compliance box to check and not actually a meaningful process that really informs an organization about its talent and its top and bottom people. Um, you know, Manager ratings are just the worst. I mean, if you have a great manager and your manager and you really get along, then lucky you, you're probably going to get a great manager rating. But if you don't look like, talk like, or share interests with your manager, then you might be screwed. And your manager's like, oh, well, I'm just going to give them a 3, or I'm going to give them a 2 because I didn't really see what they did this quarter. So we're going to move with a 2. And maybe you're an incredible performer for your company, but you just not a self-promoter and you just have nothing in common with your manager. And still you are beholden. Your pay and your ability to stay at this company are beholden to what your manager says about you and your performance. And it's broken. I mean, there's a study by a guy named Maynard Goff that reveals that 60% of a manager's rating is reflective of their own idiosyncrasies as a rater. So 60% is coming in as bias, 20% is actually error, and 20% is accurate. So 20% of your manager rating is actually fair, and that's a broken system. We deserve to be rated fairly and rewarded fairly for our work. And, we believe in a brighter future. We believe in a brighter future where performance reviews are one of the most valuable company-wide actions that employees can take, and one of the most valuable processes for executives as well to develop their strategies. Um, you know, we've moved into this very new space, which is called organizational network analysis. And it's a science based methodology that essentially reviews how we work in the way that we actually do it in networks, right? We work on Zoom, we work on Slack, and our managers don't see 95% of our working interactions every day, but our network does, right? All of those different touch points that we talk to and work with throughout the day and throughout the quarter or the year, they often have a much better sense of who you are as a worker than your manager. And so organizational network analysis is a very simple but effective process. And our software Confirm is simply the enabler of this methodology. Organizational network analysis, or ONA for short, is a simple process of asking everyone in the company 4 questions. Who do you go to for help and advice? Who energizes and motivates you at work? Who do you think is an outstanding performer? And who do you think needs additional support and attention? And those 4 questions seem very qualitative in nature. And we do ask everyone who answers to substantiate them. And they are limited to the number of people that they can choose for these prompts. But when you take all this qualitative data and you look at it on the aggregate, the sample size provides these really great quantitative insights that managers have found extremely effective. I mean, just to get into some case studies about, how our clients are leveraging and succeeding using organizational network analysis. We just had a client tell us that in Q2 of this year, he leveraged his ONA data compiled with his manager ratings, because he does still think manager ratings are valuable as long as it's accented with that opinion of the network. He leveraged those 2 data points to make the decision to cut his sales team in half. He went from 22 to 11 AEs in Q2 and just kept his top performers. So what happened? Q3, sales were flat. Q4, 26% increase in revenue. And so you're kidding me, right? We have half the sales team, and in 2 quarters, we've almost tripled, almost added 30% of our of revenue to our organization. And so what's happening here, right? Like, how is it possible that you can cut a team in half and grow in business? And it's really just like the value of top performers not having to spend time, you know, fixing the work that bottom performers are doing, managers and sales enablers not having to spend time coaching poor performers, but coaching high performers, getting, not wasting great leads on bad AEs. You're taking a risk there of customer success, of your brand, of your reputation, and the ability to close deals. They saw faster close rates, higher close ratios. I mean, by every measure, they leveraged this organizational network analysis and this performance data to absolutely maximize their organization, increase, their capital efficiency, their revenue per employee. And it's not just that it's like extremely effective and accurate, it's also faster and more efficient.
Yeah.
Deloitte recently released a study that said across their entire organization, their performance cycles took 200,000 working hours out of their company. And just the cost of that alone. And we had another client come to us who did a research report on her own performance cycles. And they had just gone through their first performance cycle with Confirm. And we cut down the time for a cycle by 75%. And so, I mean, what is a good product? It's more efficient and stronger with better results, right? And we truly believe that it's not just Confirm, but it's the methodology that we're built on, organizational network analysis, that is really taking us in these organizations to the next level. I believe in a world where people get rated fairly. I believe in a world where managers and leaders and executives do not have to question the data that comes back when they see their performance reviews come in. I want people to have efficient and accurate conversations and develop great talent strategies out of it. And we're in the early days, but it's already happening and it's already proving very effective. And I truly believe, like, Henry Ford has this great quote. He said, if I asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. And we truly believe in this scenario of performance management, confirm is the car, right? We've been doing manager ratings and peer 360s and continuous feedback, and it's a slog. It's not accurate. It's filled with bias, but this is performance management 3.0. This is the next generation. Everybody's going to be doing it eventually. And we're just lucky enough that we've got a great head start.
Yeah, that's a lot, and I want to break down some of those things because I think it's critical, and it's very clear that the critical element in cultivating, well, I like to say, a positive workplace culture or a healthy culture, right? As people in the workplace, culture is a reflection of your people, but it also is a reflection of leadership. And one of the things that kind of stood out to me in our research that we kind of partnered together on with the Lighthouse Research was the performance management empowers employees to really excel, to help foster a culture of accountability, of fairness, right, and having that continuous improvement through those elements. And some of the three things that kind of stuck out with me during our conversation last fall was really the importance of setting those clear expectations, providing regular, not just once in a while feedback, but regular feedback, having that open communication, and really offering those growth opportunities. The standout, I guess, for me when I thought about what Confirm does and provides, enhances for their clients, was a reflection of one of the studies that came out. One of the main points that really kind of took me back was 2/3 of employees who were on the fence about quitting their jobs are dissatisfied specifically with the employer's performance management technology and tools. Those people who are on the fence, 2/3 of those employees who were on the fence about quitting their jobs within the next 6 months to a year were saying they are dissatisfied with the current state of their performance management.
It
What are some
makes
of
total
those
sense.
trends, and how does it relate to the work that you're seeing and the problems you're solving? Because I feel like what you're providing is saying, listen, we take a lot of those bias, as you're talking about, right? Taking a lot of that human aspect where it could be critical. If, like you said, if I don't have a great relationship with my leader, it's a reflection of my performance review, but not necessarily my true performance. I perform great, but I'm not connected with my direct manager, and that often reflects on that impact. And for those people, it's saying, listen, I want to get out of this when we don't have a true management tool or technology that can help align with the reality of what I'm actually doing and performing. Can you speak a little bit on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, right, all we want is a fair shake. We want to be graded accurately and rewarded appropriately for the quality of effort and the quality of our product that we put in and create on a day-to-day basis at our company. And performance management is the way to recognize that, right? It's one of the only tools we have to recognize that. I mean, if you think about the amount of data that companies have on like sales funnels and marketing initiatives and engineering efficiency, extremely important stuff. But the number one expense for the vast majority of companies is their people. And the amount of data is what? A number on a 1 to 5 scale, and that's all we have. If you put in hours and hours and hours every day, you're working overtime to make sure you spin up great work every week, all year, and then end of year cycle comes around and you get a 3, like, you're like, is there nothing more here? Can I get a little bit more? And you don't know. You don't know what the next step of the organization is going to be. If you get the classic meets expectations, you're probably not going to get your raise. You don't know if you're going to be on the fence in this tough economy for maybe getting rift. It's just unclear. And like what people want is clarity and transparency and control over their own destinies. And they feel like, if you put in great work, You should have control of over your ability to stay there, and you should deserve to get promoted or raised. We keep harping on this notion that talent truly follows a power law, right? You have your 10x performers and you have your 1x performers, and this like 1 to 5 scale doesn't really fit the way that people actually impact organizations. Like if you think about a sports team, if you think about the Los Angeles Lakers, right? LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they get paid 10x what most contributors do to that team and to that organization, right? But they deserve it. They put in the work, and all of the data, the massive amounts of that the Lakers have on, massive amounts of data the Lakers have on their players proves that these people are truly our 10xers. And, with that clarity, these players have reassurance that they're going to be treated fairly. They're going to enter their, contract negotiations with a transparent sheet of data where we can talk about my performance that is more than just imagine if LeBron James goes into his contract conversation and says you have a 4 this year and that's all we're working with, right? You can't do anything with that. And so I think all this 60% of people who are on the fence and unsatisfied with perf are just like, I don't feel like I'm being treated appropriately for the amount of effort that I put in on a week over week basis. And I feel like I deserve more. And I want to go find a company that will give me more. And better perf is how you identify those people so you can reward those people, so you can retain those people, right? They say that there's SHRM recently put out a study that shows that the cost of losing a top performer is 3 to 4x their annual salary. I mean, you pay someone 150 grand, you're going to spend 450 grand replacing them when all you have to do is subscribe to Confirm for, $10 a head to figure out who they are to make sure that you don't lose them. I mean, and that's to talk about high performers. Bottom performers are the same way. They're huge cost centers for the organization, just burning holes in your pocket, taking time away from your people, cost of business opportunities. I totally understand. I totally understand why people are on the fence and why people feel like they're not being treated fairly.
Yeah. What are some other workplace trends and workforce trends that you're watching closely? I know you mentioned a few of those case studies that you've been able to share with us in the audience today. But what other focuses are you watching closely with Confirm as we're just a month in, month past of the 2024 year? What are some other things that you're watching as we grow into this 2024 year that you're looking to focus on?
Yeah, I'm sad to say that the economy is still in question. The macro state of the economy is still in question. And I think there's going to be more pressure to do even more with even less, as there was in 2023. And we know that to do more with less and to cut down workforces and what have you, you need to make the right decisions on who's staying and who's going. And so we believe that, performance reviews and identifying your top and bottom people are very important in this new economy. I think that obviously it goes without saying that AI is having a massive impact cross-functionally across organizations. And, we leverage generative AI in our product. And there's so many tools that are spun up every day that are still blowing my mind. Like there's this one that just came out that leverages ChatGPT that for creating video content, and like a Dolly product, but for creating marketing video product content. And you can throw it a script and you can give it a director, like put this in the style of Steven Spielberg, and it'll spin up just the honestly incredible pieces of work. And so I'm always trying to pay attention to generative AI stuff because I use it literally every day. ChatGPT is bookmarked next to my calendar on my Google Chrome. And it's just amazing. Like it's truly amazing how much more efficient I am as a worker leveraging tools like this. And then I think the last thing is return to office. Like what's going to happen here? It's very unclear how employee satisfaction will when the dust settles right, and this kind of like COVID hangover finally wears off, where will we land on this like remote, in-person, hybrid working environment that is, so new to this world?
Yeah. Let's talk about that a little bit, if we will. Especially with the engagement side of Confirm. So we do a lot of performance focus, but there also is a employee engagement focus that y'all have as well, platform for that as well. How do you believe organizations and companies will be able to align with that? Because it's been an ongoing conversation of remote, hybrid, flex, bringing back people to the office. How does that impact performance? How does that impact the engagement side from your perspective? And then how does Confirm become that middle ground to help those engagement and performance when companies do decide to bring people back to the office, or be able to work out more of a flex or hybrid role?
Yeah. I think that what companies ought not do is pretend that there's a one size fits all solution for every function in the organization. Um, Not every person needs to come in 5 days a week to work their most efficiently and to work most efficiently for the business. Some people do. Some people don't need to come in at all. For some people, it's an added expense that no one needs. And the cost of travel time on burnout, that affects an employee's satisfaction and engagement. Um, and so I would challenge leaders to think extremely critically and take this problem extremely seriously. Like, you can't just throw everyone comes in 5 days a week, everyone comes in 3 days a week, everyone comes in three and a half and half day on Friday, whatever it ends up being. You have to think really critically about each function in the organization, how they work most effectively, and leaders of those functions need to think, okay, when we are in person, what are the meetings and sessions and working hours that we need to focus on when we're together so that we can go do our most effective work at home. I remember I had one of the most impactful courses of my life in college. And I remember it so distinctly because we would always do our homework in class and all the learning would happen as the homework, right? We'd watch the video lectures and then we'd do all the work together in class. And I think that there is a significant, twist in the models that we should be working with that kind of flip work upside down and really focuses on when we're together, what is the most effective use of our time, and when we're apart, same thing. And to find that out, the leaders need to give the people a voice, and that's another place where Confirm comes in perfectly. Our engagement tools are all about that. It's all about lifting the voices up that need to be heard, aggregating that data, and providing managers, clarity on this is what my people want. This is what my people say motivates them to do the most effective work. And it's up to them then, to listen or not to.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we're wrapping up time here. Is there anything, Alex, any last remarks or anything you can give to our audience to kind of take it home with, or anything specifically on your heart and Confirm's focus for the rest of the year?
Yeah. I would say that, I hope that everyone can agree we all deserve to be treated and reviewed fairly and accurately. And it's on all of us to ensure that our company does that, not only for us, but for our friends and for our colleagues and coworkers. We don't want anyone to leave an organization or get removed from an organization who doesn't deserve it. And organizational network analysis, ONA, is the greatest tool for identifying those people and getting that fair shake. So even if you don't look up Confirm or look into what we're doing, look into ONA, read about it, send it to your vice president of people and let them know, because this will give, people the best and most fair, accurate assessment that they've ever had.
Awesome. And how can someone connect with you and learn a little bit more about Confirm? Could you share any of that information, social, website?
Absolutely. Confirm.com, confirm on LinkedIn, and I am Alex Hively, also on LinkedIn, and we're at confirm.hr on all socials.
At confirm.hr. Awesome. Well, I appreciate it so much, Alex, for this conversation. Appreciate you sharing your thoughts and views as well as Confirm on this episode of HR Tech Talks.
Thank you so much, George.
All right, take care. Wow, that's so awesome. It's always a great conversation. I love talking, especially when it comes to performance. As you know, some of you may know, may not know, but we had recently just launched our peace study for employees last year. Over 1,000 employees did research on performance engagement and culture enablement. And one of the things that really kind of stood out with me again on that was the employees with the functioning culture versus those with dysfunctioning culture were 3 times more likely to say that their culture helps them be more productive and satisfied at work. And so having good culture, which is a reflection of leadership, I always say culture is how most employees feel, believe, and behave. Not all the time, but most of the time. Again, culture is how most employees feel, believe, and behave. Not all the time, but most of the time. And having a good functioning culture really enhances the productivity and really that satisfying feeling at work that keeps them engaged. It keeps them having a sense of connection to do what they do. And so I want to encourage everybody there. Again, don't forget HR Tech Awards. HR Tech Awards are open. You can go to hrtechawards.org for those software companies out there that are looking that has been a part of this before. If you're new and have not heard of hrtechawards.org, I remind you and encourage you, visit the website. If your company applies and submit that, we'll be announcing here this early spring our 2024 winners for HR Tech Awards as well. Also looking forward to in the next couple of months, we have a Peace employer research study coming out. Look forward to that as well here in February, as well as more information coming soon. You can also check out lhra.io to find out all things Lighthouse Research and Advisory. Until next time, my name is George Rogers, and I want to thank you again for joining us here on HR Tech Talks today.